Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sen.
15 PCA.
810-454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft came out, I think yesterday. So I got around to watching the first episode, and I'm such a dum-dum. I am an ignoramus. I accidentally watched the last episode first, because the files that I got, they were ordered incorrectly. So I watched episode 8 first, and I was thinking, well, that sucked. I thought they were going to do this thing like, oh, she's solving this big mystery, and then it's going to like jump backwards in time or something. And then I'm like, what kind of ending was that? Then I looked at the episode count, and I watched the last episode. So, future review, the last episode is awful. First episode review, now I'm watching it in the order that it's supposed to be watched in. But yeah, I accidentally did that. I swear I'm such an idiot sometimes. But, okay, overall, things I like. The animation is good. The character designs are good. Laura's beautiful. The reimagining of Lara Croft happened at a time where it was still okay for women to be beautiful. If they would have done this today, she would have to be ugly. She would have to have fug mug. And all they did was de-boobify her. Okay, whatever. I am a purist when it comes to characters, and I would have liked her to look exactly how she did in the originals, but I get it. I understand, but at least she's still a very beautiful woman, thank God. So that's good. The voice acting is great. All the characters sound like their characters. Jonah sounds like Jonah. Everyone sounds really, really good. What I don't like is they still kind of go out of the way of be like, all the men are dum-dums or evil or goofballs, and all the women are badass and strong. It seems to be something that has to be in every thing. And I'm confused about the timelines. So does this series take place after the 3 games? Does it take place before? Is it somewhere in the middle? Like, what is the timeline here? Because I don't remember some of these characters. There's this really effeminate gay black guy. I don't remember that character. I haven't played the new games in a while. I like the new games. As far as gameplay goes, they are excellent video games. You can complain about, the characters and the characterizations, and I like bigger boobs on Laura. That is independent of the actual gameplay, and the actual gameplay is really good. But I haven't played them in a long time, so I don't know who half these characters are. I know Jonah and I know Sam, but I don't know any of these other people. So I don't know. I think that's a big thing for people who didn't play the games and they just watch this. I can imagine how lost they are, because you see all these people and you're like, who the hell are these people? But we start up in the past, and Laura's wearing shorts. She has great legs. She's wearing shorts, and she's like running through the jungle. She's being chased by some dudes. And thank God they don't have guns, because that would have ended this real quick. But she gets to like this big ravine, and she gets all the way across. And they can't do that either. They can't jump across the thing. So she's like, haha, I made it all the way across. So they like give up. They had guns. They could have just shot her. Which is really weird, because they end up with guns later on in the episode. And these are the same like 3 guys. Why didn't they pull out their guns before? She's getting into a cave, and she does a lot of talking to herself. She's also has her earpiece in, so she's talking to this Roth guy, and he was Laura's dad's friend. So they were like archaeologists together. So they're going through this thing. She gets across, and it's the most flimsy piece of like, she just has like a stick on a rope, and she like wedges it between these 2 rocks. Like, Laura, you put so much faith in this stick. But she makes it all the way across, but it breaks and she falls in. I like to do this thing where I hold my breath just to see if I can hold my breath as long as the character does in the scene when they're underwater. And no, I could not do it. She's underwater for quite some time. There's like an alligator or a crocodile. It's an alligator. It's an alligator. Crocodiles have pointy noses, I think. So it's an alligator. But I remember reading somewhere on Twitter that there's no alligators in Chile. Like that they're just not a part of the ecosystem. But anyways, they're not going to do that kind of research. So she ends up killing this thing, and it bites her on the leg, and it does like 0 damage. You see blood, but she's like running around and like it did nothing to her. I don't know, but I thought crocodile alligator bites were like really strong. Like, and it's right on like her ankle. That's a good weak point. It didn't just bite right through or put like a severe, like, I don't know, it would break the bone, but it does nothing. She kills this thing. So it's a little more violent. It's a lot of blood. So and it also popped up at the end and like started floating on the water. Does that happen? I know fish float to the top when they like die, but does that do crocodiles do that? Is that a thing? I don't know. But she makes it to the chamber where this like box is being hidden, but she does a lot of talking to herself, which is, it's for the audience. So because normally you wouldn't say anything, you would just do what you got to do, or just you would think these things, but they have to say them out loud. But she makes it to this little place where the little jade treasure box thing is, and this Roth guy is like right behind her. Oh, good job, Laura. Where did he come from? Did he cross the ravine? Did he jump and do the thing and climb? Or did he just teleport there? How did he get there? But they find this box, and then, this guy's like buttering up Laura. The glazing is intense. It's a little creepy. Like, I don't know, he's a really much older guy and she's like a really younger girl, and it's a little grooming. I felt odd for Laura in this, like the way he talks to her, and you even see later on the episode, like he knew her since she was like a little girl. It's just weird. I feel weird. It makes you feel weird. But she's like so happy to like please this guy. But he's like, oh, the legend says whoever touches this box gets like immense wealth. And he's like, oh, don't mind if I do. Goes up there, he's going to grab it. But then Laura starts looking at all the carvings on the walls, and is showing like fire falling out of the sky and like death and destruction. And she's like, oh, maybe we should leave this thing alone. But he's like, don't worry about it. It's just a story. It's just a treasure. And so this guy seems to be in it for the treasure and for nothing else. They get out of the temple, but remember, they had to swim under that thing. There was a big collapse. Then they had to cross that ravine. They're just outside the temple. Well, how did they do that? It's like, like in games when you beat the level, you just like magically teleport to the next part. Is that what happened? They just like magically find their way out of this thing. But they run into those same guys that were chasing Laura, and they have guns this time because, that might have been helpful the first time. They're like, hey, drop the box. There's nothing but death and destruction. And they zoom in on this dude's eye a lot. He has like gray eyes. And then later on, the bad guy has gray eyes. I'm thinking, is he the same guy? Like they look similar. They could be brothers. They're so similar looking. But like, no way. They just want our treasure. They get into a fight. Laura's kicking butt. She's rolling all over the place. She's played Dark Souls, so she's like rolling nonstop. This other guy's fighting. Laura gets like hostaged. And he's like, hey, drop the box or I'm going to blow your girl's head off. And he's like, hey, Laura, just close your eyes. Don't worry about this. And you just hear, bam. So he killed that dude. Laura sees the dead body. His head, back of his head blown out. He made a canoe out of the back of his head. And he's like, hey, Laura, I didn't want you to see that. But that guy was going to kill you. And it was either us or him. Which isn't true because it was either her or the treasure box. It wasn't like he was going to kill her just to kill her. They just wanted the treasure box back. So this Roth guy, not the nicest guy, not the most truthful guy, but I guess she grew up with him. So she has this has this a lot of respect for him. It's so creepy because he's such an older guy. But then he's like, you have to survive, Laura, say that. So that's a big thing for the games, is like Tomb Raider survivors. Like, she's a survivor. We get a time skip, and then she's like fighting these people. It's like, it's like Peru. I don't remember where. This is a tradition somewhere. I forget where it is, where people beat the living crap out of each other, and they believe like the blood that's dropped from battle like makes the earth bountiful. So it's like a celebration. So it's not like they hate each other. They do it because it's part of like this festival thing. So they're all beating the living crap out of each other. Laura comes back, beats her, but then she kind of goes, we used to call this back in the day when I trained, it was called going code black. That's when you like lose all sense, and she was going to beat her to death. She was doing the ground and pound, but she was going to turn her face into hamburger meat unless that guy stopped her. And so this kind of plays into the whole reverting back to just pure survival and like losing your humanity. And that's like a themes with Lara Croft in the games. where she gets a little bit crazy. But does this take place after the 3 games? Because then you should have some growth. But is she like in the middle of that whole arc of her like being like this innocent girl who looked for treasures to being like a killer to being a survivalist where it's like anything goes, I do whatever I want, you get my way, I kill you. But she seems to be at that spot. So if this took place after the 3rd game, shouldn't she have grown past that? Anyways, she beats the living hell out of this lady, but they're like best buds afterwards. And they just drink a bunch of tequila and it's some type of alcohol, which I despise alcohol, whatever. But they're just she gets a phone call and it's Jonah. It's Christmas time. And then he's like, hey, you said you're going to be home for Christmas. And she's like, oh no. And she says things like, that's not my home. And it's like, well, that irritates me. I don't like people who talk like this, but we're in the middle of a character arc, right? So she just doesn't want to go home. She hates it. She's running away. And then Jonah's like, hey, you need to come back. You have your friends that care about you. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay here. Then she sees this guy. He died. So they're having like a little funeral. And the lady's like, oh, they're burning all his things because then she has to learn to like live her life without him. And then just that little thing makes Laura want to go home and burn all her stuff. You're very impressionable, Laura. You just don't make your own decisions, do you? So she thinks that'd be cool. I'm going to go back home and burn everything. So she's walking around the Croft Manor. And didn't she have a butler? Remember locking the butler in the freezer and the little obstacle course you could run? But I remember playing the very first Tomb Raider. I was over at a friends of the family's house and they had Tomb Raider. And I was just blown away. And I was scared. Like when the wolves jump out in that first cave, I was frightened. I can't believe that actually scared me when I was a kid, but it totally did. Anyways, so she sees a picture of them all together. So like it's Sam from the first game. When I say the first game, I mean the first game of the reboot. And we even see like one of the little campfire scenes, like where you set up camp and that's where you save your game and like do your upgrades and everything, which is kind of a fun little shout out to the games. But she gets a little flashback about how Roth died. He's carrying her out of a situation. He takes like an axe in the back and everyone's blaming her. And she's like, oh, I can't think about that. Jonah and Zip, I think the black dude's name is Zip. And I'm sick of the effeminate black man who is just nice and kind of silly. Just the most non-threatening human being that ever existed. Why can't there be a black guy who's just cool? He doesn't have to be evil or mean or nasty. Just have him be a cool guy. He doesn't have to be this really femmy, oh no, don't worry about me, ladies. They do it. I understand it in kids' cartoons because whatever. But this is supposed to be a little more grown up. Can we just have just a regular cool black dude who's just a badass? No, he has to be a snazzy dresser and he's gay and he's like the tech guy. I don't remember this guy from the games. I'm thinking he's a made up thing. But I guess they put sensors around the house just in case anyone broke in. And they're like, oh no, Laura, we went to come check on you and we just want to make sure you're doing all right because it's been like over 6 months since she's been home. Then they're like, hey, what's going on? Why do you she piled up like all the artifacts. She's like, I'm going to burn it all. And I thought, oh my God, is she really going to light everything on fire? Thank God she takes it to an auction. Hopefully the British Museum buys it and all those artifacts can be on view for everyone to see, for the whole world to enjoy. Don't just burn them, you freaking idiot. But she's having nightmares. She's getting dragged again. It's when Roth died, he like is carrying her and this guy throws an axe. Instead of jumping out of the way, because there was time, he had time to see the axe, turn around. He could have just fell to the ground. He could have sidestepped. It was stupid. He just took it to the back. He dies. And then everyone's like, Laura, we're only here because of her. Again, people are going to say things that aren't so nice in a very stressful situation. And she's having nightmares. Everyone's like blaming her, which isn't true. Not everyone blamed her. This was like badass when like Roth is like halfway on fire. It reminded me so much of like Death Stranding, Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid. It's a cool look. This little scene was really cool. She wakes up having a nightmare. She's like, oh, I can't believe this. But we skip forward to, I guess they're having the big gala. And I honestly thought for a second she was like inviting everyone here so they can watch her burn everything. And I'm like, oh, thank God she's actually having an auction. She's selling it. Do not just burn history. That is ridiculous. Everyone's walking around being very posh. And it's like a party. We got our gay guy being gay. That's the only way I can say. He's going around eating the thing. He's drinking. He's just acting super effeminately gay. Like, you got to know that this guy's gay. We get it. Guy's like, oh, I'd like to speak to Miss Croft. And do you know where she is? And she's just like getting drunk with like the wait staff. That's just such a stupid trope. Anyways, she's like, okay, I guess I can go talk to people. She has a very pretty dress, but she's wearing like tennis shoes. Of course. Can't just wear a dress. Can't just be, she could even wear flats or, like pumps or something. She doesn't have to be wearing old 8-inch stilettos. I get it. But Converse, get the hell out of here. And I'm sick of this. It is such a stupid, it's meme status has fallen off. Oh, this girl compliments her dress. It's a very beautiful dress. She looks phenomenal in this dress. Oh, it has pockets. I don't ever want to hear that again. It's so stupid. It's such a stupid thing to be happy about because it's gotten to the point to where it'd be almost stupid if it didn't have pockets. But he's trying to talk her into like, hey, you need to go out there and so that people can see you and, can be a part of this. So she's walking. They see like a picture of like her dad. He's like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And instead of being a good friend and just staying there with your friend, oh, let me go get you something to drink so you can get sloshed because that's going to help you. How about you stick with your friend, you stupid freaking idiot? Anyways, he walks away. Zip walks away to go get her a drink. And then this other guy walks up who's not Roth. Is this Roth? Am I stupid in thinking that this is him? Because there was a lot of zoom ins on Roth's gray eyes in the flashback. And now we get zoom ins on this guy who has gray eyes. Are we being led to believe that that's him? Is it not him? Then why all the focus on the eyes? But he's like, well, these people don't understand that they want you just to forget everything, but there is no forgetting. But so he's like saying all this stuff. How would this random dude know these things about Laura? How? Unless he was Roth, how could he know these things? But anyways, he like kind of gives you like a look, and it's almost like I don't know. Maybe I got brain rot. He gives her a look, like he gives her like a, then he walks away. Then she walks away. I'm like, oh my God, is she following him? Like, is she going to go look up somewhere? I don't know. I'm crazy. My brain is rotting. But they're having the auction. She goes into her house and she notices, she just, goes in the backyard and she can't be part of the party. She just can't be there. There's a really fun part in the games where you see this little pirate ship in the backyard where your little girl, Laura, you're like 10, 11 years old, and you're like jumping around and there's a bunch of little secrets you can find. Kind of fun. Back to when Laura's like a little girl, like maybe 6, and Roth's there saying, oh, you're going to, she jumps into his arms and he's like, oh, you're getting a little too big for that. He groomed her. He was grooming her. There is no other explanation. But she's just, I can't, think about the past. She notices someone like ninja mode, like jumped across the moonlight, and then she kind of saw the shadow. And this guy's stealing that jade box, that one that they found in the beginning of the show. Then she does the whole like rope and dagger thing, which is kind of cool, but it's like, I didn't know she could do that. Rope and dagger, and starts fighting this guy. The fight scene's pretty decent. This guy's in full like ninja mode, like he's wearing a motorcycle helmet and everything. And anyone who's ever worn a motorcycle helmet, it's not conducive to a fight. And also this motorcycle helmet is really small. A motorcycle helmet makes your head look huge because it has to be big because, it has to protect your effing brain. But anyways, chases this guy outside. He gets on a bike and then Laura's like, there's a thief, stop him. But everyone's like, what? Huh? Chases after him, steals a guy's car because, she can do that because she's a girl. I don't know what the significance of this license plate is because it zooms in on it. Does this mean anything to anyone? Don't know. Chasing this guy down, and like I've said this in many, many things, a motorcycle can outrun a car like you wouldn't effing believe. There's no way she could have kept up with him. Zero, none, zilch, no chance in hell could she have ever kept up with him. Especially if this was like a 1200 cc sports bike. If he's rocking a Hayabusa or something, there is no way in hell she could have kept up with him. Anyways, she's always hooked up to her earpiece, like at all times. Like she has freaking Life 360 on at all times. Then she's like, oh, you got a tracker on all my stuff, right? And he's like, yeah, he's going down towards the river. It's a jade box that couldn't be opened. That was another thing too. They're like, oh, there's no way to open this. So where did he put the tracker on the bottom? With like a little sticky, he put an air tag on it. Where did this tracker go? Anyways, he's tracking him because he's, super tracker guy. Don't go down the alleyways. Oh, the car's not going to fit. But she's like, I don't listen to the rules. I'm too cool. Kind of crashes out. Then she gets on a bicycle. There hasn't been a bicycle chase this intense since Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's so stupid. This bicycle's keeping up with the motorcycle. What? And not only is she keeping up, she's doing tricks. She's grinding rails and doing backflips. Why in the world would you do that? Oh my god, it's so stupid. But he gets onto the boat and then, just being to be a jerk, he like takes his like helmet off. He's like, I got your little box. What are you gonna do? She gets back to the house and she's like, where's he headed? Jonah's like, hey, I heard about the break-in. And he's like, you don't need to be chasing this guy. It's just a box. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, don't say that. It has significance. And then she's in her I can't let things go phase. And I guess there's two boxes. There's a red one and a green one. And there's one that's in China. So, he's on a flight and it's going to Beijing. Okay, he's going to get the other one. I'm going to go stop him. It's so weird. Then Jonah's like, you don't need to do this. But Zip. What a dumb name. Zip is like, hey, why don't you turn on some lights in here? You got to pay the power bill for that. Then she goes down to her secret base that has power. I'm assuming it's on a backup generator. I'm guessing that the only thing that makes sense. But then why make the comment about not turning on the lights? Like, why not just not say anything and just have her turn on the switch and then the lights come on? Like, why was that important? But she's going through the paperwork and that's where she finds out there's a second box, that he's going to China. I'm going to go get him. No one's going to stop me. And Jonah, I don't need your help. Jonah's like, everyone needs help. And he's like, no, screw you. I'm going alone. We cut to the guy. He opens the box. Remember this whole thing? He couldn't open it. He straight up just turns the lid. That was the puzzle? They didn't think about turning the lid? This is so stupid. So he gets it out and there's like a green jade thingy in there. He grabs it, goes Super Saiyan, and no one on the boat notices giant green lightning bolts flying out of his eyes, but it gives him like the power to like control people's minds. So he tells like the skipper, hey, Gilligan, go kill the skipper. And he's going to do it, but then he's like, no, stop. And he doesn't do it. So I'm glad this guy maybe have a little bit of humanity in him. That's what I'm thinking. It's Roth. Am I stupid? Is it not Roth? But he doesn't do it, but he's like, it's the starting of a new era, but we see like lightning bolts and everything, so things getting really scary. So I'm assuming whoever has these powers also causes like rainstorms and like hurricanes and stuff. So there you go. End of the first episode. It's just okay. Has some silly moments. The animation's pretty good most of the time. The art, character designs are fine. I don't know. It's just odd because I played all the games, so I like know this version of Lara. I just would love to know someone's outside perspective who hasn't played any of the games. They know Lara exists. They know it's from a video game, but they never played them. How does this? I feel like they'd be lost. I feel like they would just be like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Like, this feels like you've had to have played the games to get full enjoyment out of it. I don't know, but that's one episode. Netflix releases everything all at the same time. I'll try to do one episode a week, maybe. I don't know, maybe I do two. Who knows? But thanks for watching, guys. I'll do more reviews. I got to get back to Amphibia. I got to do a couple episodes this week. I have to. But thanks for watching. Do you like this version of Lara? I think she's okay. I'm not in love with her, but she's okay. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.